Hello there, welcome back to my Sims 2 channel. Today we're going to be touring Strangetown and taking a look at all the families that have either moved here or have continued to grow here. I actually don't think I've had any new families move to Strangetown, considering it's pretty desolate as of right now, but I look forward to seeing if I can grow it into more of a busy city, or I should say busy neighborhood. So let's go ahead and pop into one of these households and see who we're going to check out first. So first up on my rotation in Strangetown is the Curious family, which they live over here in their very cool looking laboratory type house. So let's go see who is in residence currently. So right now we have Lazlo Curious. He's the last Curious brother to live in this house, and so he just got to keep it. And his wife Brandy, as in Brandy broke. This is also Brandy's child, Ezra, who Ezra is actually the unborn baby that she's pregnant with at the start of the game, so his father is Skip broke. And then this is Vega Curious. This is Lazlo's alien daughter that he was impregnated with when he was abducted. And then the baby that they're holding in their arms is actually a biological baby between Lazlo and Brandy, a baby girl named Madison. So I have a bio here. It's a little outdated, but we'll read it anyway. It says, Lazlo and Brandy are living happily with their children, though Brandy thinks she might want just one more. Will they be able to make their odd lives work with another little baby? So that was kind of the focus on this family for a while, was seeing whether or not Brandy and Lazlo would actually want to have a child, but then they did, so then Madison was born. So here we are at the Curious household. This is what it looks like on the outside. I haven't had the courage to attempt rebuilding or remodeling this house at all, although of course out of most of the Max's households, this one could probably definitely use a little bit of an upgrade. But as of right now, I still think it's pretty cool. You know, they have a lot of stairs. If somebody really wants to use the telescope up here, they're gonna have to take quite a walk to get there. This is just the view as well. Like, look at this. It's very nice. It's just expansive desert. There's no one else really anywhere nearby. I believe this is all of Specter's house, so she's the closest neighbor that they have, really. Well, not the closest, but the one that they can see to the side. And then they're on this main road, so they can see everybody from up here. It's pretty nice. Okay, I haven't changed much outside, but I have added some things that they needed, like a dog house for their adopted dog, Scout. And then we have some, I replaced the rose bushes and things like that were out here with some more similar to desert flora, such as cacti and stuff. So let's go take a look at the family. So here we are with Brandy Broke, aka now she is Brandy Curious. She and Lazlo actually met not terribly long after Ezra was born. I think they met each other actually because Vidkind, Lazlo's brother, married Nina Caliente, and Nina and Brandy were pretty close friends at the time, so they were both at the wedding. So Brandy met Lazlo at his brother's wedding, and then I noticed that they had some chemistry and that they were actually like rolling wands to interact with each other, and so of course one thing led to another, and next thing I knew they were in love. And this is one of the more different pairings that I've had thanks to the Uberhood. So I was really interested to see where things went for them, and I really like how their story has turned out. You know, Brandy really just wanted someone who would be a good role model to her children, and someone who could also potentially give her more children. So that was important to her because she didn't feel like she was finished having kids as it was. She was still kind of reeling from the loss of her husband Skip, which, you know, as of to this day, we still don't really know exactly what happened to Skip, like why he disappeared so suddenly, whether or not he's really dead. It's kind of up in the air. So yeah, she just met Lazlo and things just kind of clicked and they went from there. She is a Aries, and so she's rather sloppy. She's pretty outgoing. She's kind of lazy though, but she's more on the playful and the nice side. I've always liked Brandy a lot. She's always been one of my favorite Sims. I know some people have it in their headcanons that she isn't really such a good mom after all because she has like the most expensive stuff in her bedroom and not the rest of the house. But there's actually an interesting head theory that I have from that. It's and I kind of picked this up just a smidge from Annie Bats on YouTube. I've been watching a lot of her Pleasant View Let's Plays recently. If you haven't checked her out, I highly recommend. I literally could never ever do what she does. She does it really well, playing the game that is, and making up stories for her Sims. Anywho, so what I picked up from her as far as Brandy and Skip's story goes is that Skip was potentially a criminal. And so this is actually how Dustin kind of found his way into the career as well, through Gordon King. I like that idea a lot. I think that Annie Bats did a really good job making up the story. So if you want to hear more about her version of events in her Pleasant View, definitely check her video out. I will link her below in the description, just because, again, if you haven't seen her, you're really missing out. Moving on, so I kind of think that's why, she had the more expensive stuff in her bedroom. It wasn't necessarily hers, it was Skip's. And maybe Skip was the more self-centered one, for all we know. Who knows? Alright, Brandy's bio says, friendly by nature, Brandy has often been accused of being overly so. She enjoys grape juice and crumpling tinfoil. And I just love that a lot. She and Lazlo have pretty good chemistry. It's mediums or so, which, that's, besides Mortimer Goth, of all people, that's the strongest chemistry that she has with anyone. So, of course, she's very close friends with her son Ezra and her husband and their daughter Madison, and her son Beau. Nina Curious is her best friend, and then she finally is repairing her relationship with Dustin. For a very long time, she and Dustin actually kind of didn't like each other. They were more on the neutral side, but Dustin almost had a distaste for Brandy, and I think that he kind of just had things a little harder when his father disappeared because, maybe Brandy was more focused on raising Beau, and maybe she let her relationship with Dustin fall to the wayside. Potentially whenever he was getting involved in the criminal career and things like that, she was kind of hard on him about it, and so that could be another thing that drove a wedge between them. But finally, he's an adult and he's raising a family of his own, so I think that he and Brandy will actually find their way back to having a somewhat good mother-son relationship. I do think it's a little odd that Brandy is so young because she's actually not even that far apart in age from Dustin. So it's actually hilarious because Brandy's grandchild, Alice, is actually much older than her own daughter, Madison. So that's going to be interesting when Alice grows up to see if she ever winds up in school with Madison, and because Madison is actually Alice's niece. It's funny. Okay. Brandy is currently a prep cook, level 6 in the culinary career. She decided to go ahead and get a job again after Dustin went off to college because, well, she needed the income as it was, but she decided to go into culinary because she already had a pretty good handle of the cooking skill, and that was just kind of where her passion lied. She really enjoys cooking. Her favorite hobby, though, is arts and crafts. So when she has free time, she likes to paint or make pottery. Her turn-ons are well-educated Sims, aka Sims that went to college, with high mechanical skills, but she does not like well-traveled Sims. So I don't know if Lazlo fits any of those categories. I don't do secondary aspirations, at least not yet. Someone asked me about that on something else before. I think Twitch it was, but no, I don't do any secondary aspirations for any of the Sims yet, but I may still introduce those later if I feel like I need to. Alright, and that's Brandy, so let's move on and talk about Lazlo. Okay, so here is Lazlo Curious. He is actually a little bit younger than Brandy. He only becomes an elder in 21 days, whereas she becomes an elder in 15 days. I'm not actually sure if I've ever noticed that age gap before, but him being like the youngest out of the Curious brothers, and Brandy already having been old enough to have a teenage son, that makes sense to me. We all know Lazlo is a knowledge sim. He currently is a summer camp music teacher level 4 in the music career. So this is an interesting turn of events because, as you may know, Lazlo does begin the game in the science career, just like his brothers. But unfortunately, Lazlo was fired, if I'm not mistaken, from a bad chance card. Let me see. I think so. At some point, yes, a long time ago, he was fired pretty early into his career there. So he went unemployed for a pretty long time. He wound up, being abducted by aliens, and he had his daughter Vega. And at the time, it was him and his 2 brothers and all of their alien children living in this house together. So Vidkind and Pascal went to work while Lazlo stayed home with the kids. So it was kind of working out for them. But of course, as the guys got married and moved out, Lazlo met Brandy and they wanted to get married. So he knew, especially with her bringing over more kids and then potentially having children of their own, he knew he was going to need his own income of some sort. But he didn't really have the desire to go into anything too degree specific. So he actually wanted to go into the music career. And I kind of see this as more of like him trying to just, he still has the desire for like skills and things like that. Like his lifetime wants to max out 7 skills. So I see this more like he wants to just focus on the knowledge aspect of his aspiration and just simply work here to make money. The job isn't everything to him, much like it isn't in real life. He is a Sagittarius, and he's extremely sloppy, which isn't too far off from Brandy either. He's very, very outgoing, he's very lazy, he's extremely playful, and he's kind of in between grouchy and nice. His bio says, not as studious as his older brothers, Lazlo got his degree in phrenology. He likes to call phone psychics and spends hours trying to bend forks with his mind. So based off of this description, I could give him a degree with the bat box by using that, because as of right now his lifespan doesn't account for college. But if I did that for him, I would definitely have to do that for Vidkind and Pascal, and I would probably forget. So I'm not going to bother, but we can pretend that he did go to college. Not that there is a real phrenology major, but and so then he met Brandy. I can't recall exactly when, but before that, he did kind of dated around a little bit with other Sims. So let's see. He had his very first kiss with a townie named Tori. You might be wondering what happened to Crystal Vu, because usually they start the game with a crush on each other, but they simply did not have chemistry together whatsoever. It didn't make any sense to me for them to wind up together. Maybe they were high school sweethearts or a little college fling and then they kind of outgrew each other. That's what I'm going with anyway. So he met this Tory person, and they went on a date or 2 probably, but things just kind of weren't really going anywhere. So then he meets Brandy, they go on a date, and things are just really heating up for them almost immediately. Apparently he had his very first woohoo ever with her. Lazlo is a little more on the inexperienced side. And then later he was still playing the game a little bit, and he had a woohoo with Tori as well. So he and Brandy hadn't committed to each other, so I don't consider that cheating. He and Brandy were still getting to know each other. They were taking it slowly because, of course, there were children involved and they didn't want to get, put too much on them too quickly. Pascal got engaged, and then he falls in love with Brandy. So he was already in love with Tori, so this gives him the memory of having 2 loves at once. And then he got engaged to Brandy. But he apparently caught Tori cheating. I'm not sure with who. Maybe it was Tank. I think I do have a memory of Tank and Tori having a fling. So, but he was already engaged, so in a way he just kind of saw this as the definite sign that he was making the right choice. He was choosing the right woman. And I'm glad that he did. So, and then he and Brandy got married. They had a great wedding party. And then not too much longer later, he and Brandy had their daughter Madison. And I must say, I am just positively thrilled that they had a girl, because in all the years I've ever played The Sims 2, I have never been able to get Brandy to have a daughter. And now she has one. Also, Lazlo's turn-ons are blonde hair and logical and he doesn't like redheaded Sims. And his favorite hobby is nature, but he really has the most enthusiasm in cuisine. For a very long time, Lazlo was a little on the thicker side, but as you can see, he works out now. So maybe he was trying to shed the weight to impress Brandy. Of course, Brandy herself has now put on a little weight, but it doesn't matter to either of them what they look like. I feel like they definitely just love each other for who they are. Moving on. So this handsome fellow right here is Ezra Broke. So he actually was a child, if I'm not mistaken, when Lazlo and Brandy got married. So I did strongly debate whether I should actually have him take the Curious name because, you know, in another world, it's possible that Brandy and Lazlo would want Ezra to take Lazlo's last name because he would be like adopted sort of by Lazlo, but they didn't want to dishonor Skip's memory, so he's still Ezra Broke. So yeah, this is him. He is just super cute. I love him a lot. This is the first time I have ever had a baby actually be linked to Skip Broke. I've always played just regular Max's hoods in the past, which, as you might already be aware, Brandy is actually pregnant with her clone because the game developers accidentally disconnected Skip from the genetic connection. I don't know, it's something like that. So yeah, but this guy has a little bit of both Brandy and Skip in him. He is a knowledge sim. His current lifetime want is to become a city planner in the architecture career, but I will have to see if he sticks to that. He's a private school student. He has an A+, and he is a Pisces. He's rather in between sloppy and neat, but he's definitely neater than either of his parents. He's very outgoing, he's pretty active, he's rather serious, and he's very, very nice. So, just all around a great sim. He is a little on the tubbier side right now, but that's okay. And I don't have a bio for him. I'm not good at making up bios unless I have a specific thing in mind. His favorite hobby is music and dance, and he does have a lot of enthusiasm in that. His turn-ons are great dancers with brown hair, and he does not like stink. Neither do I. So as you can see in his memories, he has already had his first kiss, and that was with Grace Pleasant. She is the daughter of Mary Sue and Daniel Pleasant. So if you remember from my very first Welcome to Pleasant View video, she's in there with her twin sister Iris. And he's already won a SimCity Scholars Grant, and now he has the want to win the Bain Gordon Communications Fellowship. So he basically just has to get a really high charisma skill, and I think he's on his way to get there. Okay, well that's pretty much it about Ezra. Let's go talk about his stepsister, Vega. So this is Vega Curious. She is the alien daughter of Lazlo Curious from when he was abducted, the one and only time. She just aged up to a teen, so she still has 7 days before she can either go to college or become an adult. She is a romance sim, and her current lifetime want is to become a Hall of Famer, but I'm definitely going to change that because I don't feel like she is the type of sim that would be at all interested in the athletic career. And she hasn't had any romantic prospects just yet. She does have some chemistry with her best friend River Caliente, who, as we all know, is Dina and Mortimer's son. But they haven't really had any romantic interactions yet, although I'm sure it's to come because with her being a romance sim and him being a romance sim, it's definitely going to happen. She hasn't really bonded with her stepmother at all, and Madison was just born, so their relationship is excusable. But she's become pretty close with Ezra. They're not too far apart in age. He's only a few days older than her, so they have pretty much grown up together at this rate. So Vega is a private school student, but she only has a B+. She is a Libra. She's very sloppy like her father. She's extremely outgoing, but also extremely lazy, and she's very playful and very nice. So a very strong personality indeed, and I don't believe she doesn't have a bio, but if you recall from my previous videos, I usually will write in their bio if they do or do not need to wear glasses. Seeing as how Lazlo starts the game with glasses, I rolled the die to see if she was going to have to wear them. but she does not, and he wound up taking his off anyway. We just are going to say that he uses contacts now. Yeah, and so Vega is going to be a very fun sim to play with, I think. I am interested to see where she's going to go from here. Her turn-ons are brown hair and good at cleaning sims, but funnily enough, she does not like other aliens. And she isn't the only alien to feel that way. I believe that Chloe Curious doesn't like aliens either, so maybe they just aren't interested in where they came from and they don't really want to meet other aliens, or at least not in the romantic department. I'm not sure if she is actually supposed to be part machine or what have you, but she, we can just pretend that this skin of hers is more of like a biotech, considering that she was born. So, whatever it may be, it's a part of her. But look at how cute she is, and she's wearing little moon earrings, and she's got the red glitter around her eyes. It's honestly a little spooky, but I like her a lot, and she's gonna be really cute. And of course, right here now we have Madison Curious, a cute little baby. I'm not sure where she gets the blonde hair from. I'm assuming is a recessive trait somewhere between either Lazlo or Brandy, maybe one of their parents. I don't remember, I'd have to check the family tree to be sure. But she has silver eyes. I think she's going to be so cute. Honestly, Brandy and Lazlo don't have much of a physical difference as far as their faces go. I think Brandy is she's pretty close to a face one, and I suppose Lazlo has a little bit different eye shape and nose, so I just can't wait to see what little Madison is going to look like as she gets older. And last but not least, of course, down here drinking from his own pee puddle, I assume, this is Scout. So Scout is just a puppy that they adopted from the adoption pool. He's super cute, and he's already a family favorite. If you'd like to see what I've done with the house, which is essentially nothing, but I'll show you anyway. Of course, over here, nothing's different about their kitchen area except for the fact that I moved. I think it starts the fridge and stuff is over here on this side, and it's only island chairs as seating, so I wanted them to have a table where they could sit down together as a family. They didn't have a lot of room to work with, so that's why I went with this layout, and then I just put this little 4-seater chair over here. You can see there's a birthday cake. This is from Vega's birthday the night before. And then moving down here, they still have their TV and computer area, but I moved it to where they only have one computer and desk, and then they also have a just one couch. And then right here in this spare room, I took out the chess table and instead put down a robotics lab, or whatever you'd like to call this, because someone in this house had rolled the wand for it. I can't remember who. I think it was Ezra. So I thought it'd be interesting to see if this family could start building and maybe even selling robots, because I don't have robots in my game right now. So that would be fun to see. Over here, I turned this little, what was a greenhouse room, into a another bedroom. Oh, it's daylight. So this is actually Ezra's room. He has a pretty simple, just a bed, desk, dresser, and toy box. It's pretty sparsely furnished. We still have the bathroom, which I changed just a smidge so I could give them a bathtub and a shower. That was necessary for the kids. Down here in what I presume used to be Vidkin's room, this is Vega's bedroom. So this is the most decorated bedroom in the entire house because lately I've been on a teen kick, so every time a teen ages up I just get excited and just throw a lot of stuff into their room. So she has a lot of, she doesn't like aliens, but she has an alien poster. This is a music poster, some books that she can actually read from, which is really cool. I like these. You can see this is actually her portrait from when she was just a child and she claimed this desk. She has a little gamer chair. Over here on this wall we have a little planter decoration and another poster. Maybe this is supposed to be somebody famous in the sim world. And over here she's got a mirror and this cool little poster, again, probably an album cover or something. And she has a really cute bedding. I just like this a lot. I kind of went with the purple theme, pink and purple, as her favorite colors. Over here in this a little bit bigger bedroom, this is now Madison's room. So until I know a little more about her personality, it's going to remain a little sparsely furnished, but then as she grows, I will customize it to what I assume would fit her. So we have just a little changing table over here. I was trying to see if those were bunnies, but it's really hard to tell. Yes, and then over here is just her bed. I put some decorations on the wall, some little dolls and toddler jacket, toy box. This is a robot that Lazlo built. Really cute. And then last but not least, over here, this is a little bit of an extension on the house. This is the most I was willing to do to make this house bigger. I just added on a little more space to make this a big enough bedroom to have a double bed. They have Brandy's painting from her old house. This is the one thing she brought with her. Maybe it has some kind of emotional connection to it. Maybe it was given to her by Skip. This is a pet bed. This is Lazlo's workout machine, well, his exercise bike, and Brandy uses it from time to time. And then this family desperately needed another bathroom, so I put a bathroom connection onto their bedroom. So yeah, that is pretty much all there is to see and know about this family. So we are going to go ahead and move on to the next one. Next up, we have, I think, what is a lot of people's favorite in Strangetown is Olive Specter, right over here. And as you can see right away, this is a very green Olive Specter. She is now Olive Specter, the atrociously evil witch. So let's go in here and see what Olive has been up to. So here we are at Olive Specter's house. As you can see here, she is currently living alone. Ophelia has moved off to Pleasant View with her husband Johnny and their daughter. So Olive is here all on her lonesome. Not much has changed about the house. If anything, I've changed nothing. So the only difference is now, instead of Ophelia's bedroom over here, this is Olive's little witchy room with her cauldron and her, what is this thing called? Podium thing, like something like that. And then she has like a little evil potion. I don't know. I could definitely make it witchier if I tried, but I also just don't normally play with witches, so this is different for me. I just kind of felt like she needed something going on rather than just being an old cranky lady. So witch it is, and I believe she had the want to become a witch as it was. So yeah, I just added some of these like evil lights in here. She's made these herself. There's another one. I like this one. That's pretty. I don't know why the chairs are all messed up like that. And then over here, you know, you have her secret room. This is actually where she briefly captured Don Lothario, but then she let him out. She had a moment of weakness. She was fully planning on black widowing Don, so to speak. She and Don actually have had a little bit of an torrid affair. Not affair because he's not married, but affair in the way that it's more like a dalliance. And she doesn't have a high chemistry with him, so she was just kind of like, you know, I'm done with you. You're gonna go into my collection now of her garden. But she had a last moment change of heart because he has children and she hasn't killed anyone yet that actually has a child besides Lila Grunt, but that's up in the air of whether or not she did that. So let's take a look at you, Olive. Where are you? Okay. So this is Olive Specter. She's very green. I'm sure that there is a mod out there somewhere to mod out the green skin because I really kind of wish she had her original complexion, especially considering how close she is to expiring. I would really prefer for her not to be green in everybody's family tree, which I suppose maybe when she turns black and white you won't be able to tell. But regardless, we all know that she has a son, Nervous, who is often married to Lola Specter. Olive is a grandmother, but she doesn't have much of a relationship with her grandkids. She just had them over for dinner last night with Lola and Nervous. She's trying really hard to get along with them. She wants to be in their lives, but also with her being such a grouchy sim, it's been rather difficult for her to forge that connection. The only people that she's truly friends with is her son Nervous, Don Lothario, Celeste Thomason, who is the witch that showed her onto this path, and then this butler named Tucker Chen. I don't remember how or why she became friends with him. I think she originally was going to add him to her garden, but it didn't work out between the two of them. But she does have the highest amount of chemistry with him and a few other Sims that are mostly all spoken for. She is a retired professional party guest, level 10 of the Slacker career. She gets 300 simoleons for a pension every day. She is a Scorpio. She's extremely neat. She's in between shy and outgoing. She's in between lazy and active. She's very serious. She's very grouchy. Olive's bio says Olive will stop at nothing to get what she wants. She spends her time collecting mushrooms, sharpening sticks, and excavating her yard. So if anything, I know a lot of people don't like the idea that Olive is this stone cold murderer, but I feel like it's up in the air for, players' interpretations. So if you would rather see it that way or not, that's, your interpretation. For me personally, I do kind of see her, with her being evil in my game, I think maybe she does make it a habit of burying Sims who don't exactly please her. She has very little patience to spare for people, and what with her having magical powers now, I think a lot of that has gone to her head, hence the atrociously evil witch, and not just evil witch. So she has actually gone to community lots and just simply terrorized people. She doesn't really have a very good reputation, or no, well, now she does, but I promise she didn't. Her favorite hobby is science, but she doesn't really spend any time doing that. She does have a telescope outside, but anytime she tries to use it, she gets haunted by ghosts. So I always was trying to, I wondered if she was going to be, or die by fright because her needs would get so low, but somehow Olive is just impervious to the ghosts attacking her and things like that. It just doesn't bother her. Her turn-ons are young adults with high logic skills, and she does not like Sims with black hair, which makes me wonder why she ever decided to go after Don Lothario. But honestly, I think what it was is he went after her. She has had a couple little things happen since I started playing her. She's seen a lot of ghosts. She did go on a date with Tucker the butler, but it didn't last. They didn't even have a great date. Then she became a witch, so she never really thought about him again. She went on a date with this lovely repairman named Lee Lewis, and they had woohoo, things were looking up really good for the two of them. She remembers Nervous getting engaged. She made best friends with this guy named Wyatt, and then Lee died. So she did decide, after she woohooed with Lee, to trap him in her secret room, and she buried his remains in her yard. That's just kind of what she does. Nobody ever said she was sane. And then she immediately moves on to Wyatt. Wyatt Lee was a bartender. I think it's interesting that we had Lee Lewis and then Wyatt Lee. Maybe it's a reoccurring theme for her. She falls in love with Wyatt almost immediately. She woohoos with him. And then it's not too much longer that Wyatt dies himself. So now we have a reoccurring pattern. Not too much later, that is when she meets Don, and he puts the moves on her. She falls for it, hook, line, and sinker. But then she actually, essentially, nothing really came of that. Like I said, she trapped him, and then she had a change of heart. They do still keep in touch, though, so it's possible that that might change in the future. So I'd like to show you what she looks like in her everyday wear. So this is Olive. I think she's very pretty. I like her a lot. Again, I do wish that she maybe didn't glow so much, but it's pretty cool to see. She is emanating all of this evil energy. So yeah, that is pretty much all there is to know about Olive as of this time. So we will have to come back and see what happens, if she can maybe add anybody else to her garden before she expires. Over here on the far side of Strangetown, we have this very interesting little manor right on the cliff of a UFO crash, which is interesting. and next to a satellite tower. This is the Beaker family. I haven't changed their bio since Nervous moved out, so we can ignore that. But let's take a gander at who here is in the house. So of course we have Loki and Cersei. I do call her Cersei. If you don't like how I pronounce it, I'm very sorry. I just kind of have always called her Cersei since I was a kid, so it's hard to not say it now. And it's also their 2 kids. So this is Fallon, and then their youngest son, Owen, and I believe Cersei is actually pregnant again. So they are just kind of breeding a whole litter, and who knows, maybe they are trying to groom their children into taking over the family business of torturing neglected Sims. Hopefully not, though. So here we are over here at this castle-looking house. This is the Beaker home. The only thing I've done differently out here was add a driveway and some cactus and stuff. So let's go ahead and take a look and see who we can find in here. So over here, they're still sleeping. This is Cersei and Loki. If you've ever played Strangetown, you would be pretty familiar with these Sims, but let's take a look at them anyway. So over here, waking up first, we've got Loki Beaker. Let's take these walls down. So Loki, for a second there, I thought maybe his eyes were closed, but no, that's just as open as they will go. He's got some eyebrows. He's got eyebrows for days. Loki is 13 days away from becoming an elder. He is a knowledge sim with a lifetime want to become a mad scientist. He's actually pretty close to achieving that because he is a theorist level 9 in the science career. And he has some very close friends now. You wouldn't really think him the type to have friends, but he does. So he is actually, of course, very close with his family. So he's very close with Cersei and his sons. Surprise, surprise, his best friend is actually Cassandra Curious because they actually work together. He is one of Cassandra's sort of like mentors in the science community. Since her father Mortimer has retired, and she looks up to him a lot. It's very interesting to see. He is also very close with Miranda Cap because this Loki is a little bit of a dog, and he had a little bit of an affair with Miranda while she was in college. So they definitely woohooed a couple of times, but I don't think that since she's become an adult, that they've kept in touch. He still does have a crush on her. Right here we have Nina Curious. They're still best friends. They get along pretty well, but I think it's just more as friends. He did have a crush on her for a while that she reciprocated, but it just sort of fizzled out, and nothing really happened between the two of them. And then a more recent thing, he has become close friends with Pascal, who is Cassandra's husband. Alright, if we're looking at chemistry-wise, honestly, he has the most chemistry with his wife and also this random townie named Tori. But yeah, he has the strongest connection to Cersei, for sure. So he is a Capricorn. He's extremely neat. He's rather outgoing. He's pretty active. He's violently serious and violently grouchy. So he is just not a sim to trifle with. His bio says, as soon as he perfects his latest invention, Loki is sure to get the recognition he knows he deserves. In the meantime, he keeps himself busy by trying to assemble a nuclear reactor out of common household items. So he just, he thinks he is just so cool. And funnily enough, his favorite hobby is science. That was through no doing of my own. It just happened to work out that way. And he does have pretty high enthusiasm in both science and cuisine. He likes to cook. Alrighty, and then his turn-ons are fatness, hard worker, and he does not like young adults, which is ironic because, again, he had an affair with Miranda when she was a young adult. But alas, maybe, things have changed. He actually had his very first kiss with Cersei as a teenager, and they went steady. They grew up together. He immediately goes into the science career. His parents died. He fell in love with Cersei. He got engaged to her, but before they could get married, his mother died. Very sad. They woohooed for their first time together. And then it was not long after I started playing them that they both immediately wanted to have a child. And so here we have Fallon. And then, of course, you know, after the pregnancy and things like that, things were a little fraught, perhaps, between Loki and Cersei. So this is why he meets Miranda, and she seduces him, and he goes for it. So they didn't really hold back as far as that goes. And then he also met Nina, and they had a little flirtatious thing going on. But again, nothing really came of that. And then they had their youngest son, Owen. And most of their life since then has just kind of been focused on raising the kids and furthering himself in his career. As of right now, next time he goes to work, which is today, he's going to get that promotion to mad scientist, and then he will have achieved his dreams. So right here we have Cersei Beaker. She is actually 16 days from becoming an elder. She's a fortune sim. Her current lifetime want is to become chief of staff, level 10 in the medical career, which is exactly what she's going after. As of right now, she is only a resident, level 5 in the medical career, so she's got a little ways to go compared to how far Loki is. But you could also blame that on the many days that she's had to take off of work just to be pregnant and give birth and raise her kids. But she has 10 saved up vacation days from that. Yeah, she doesn't really have as many close friendships as Loki does, per se. You know, of course, she has her husband and kids. And then she has a crush on her best friend, Roger Benson, who's a townie. And she starts the game off being friends with this bartender named Brenda Kapoor. And then this is a more recent development, has become friends with Marissa Vendette, who, if you recall from my Veronaville video, is engaged to Thibault Cap now. She knows Marissa from work. They're both in the medical career. She definitely has the most attraction to Loki, the same way Loki has to Cersei, but that doesn't mean that she hasn't entertained a little dalliance between her friend Roger and herself. So we will talk more about that in just a second. Just like Loki, Cersei is a Capricorn. Their personalities are extremely similar for two Sims who aren't blood related, but that's what makes them such a good couple. She is also very, very neat. She is in between shy and outgoing. She's extremely active, but she is 100% serious and 100% grouchy. She's also very, very fit. You just can't tell right now because she is pregnant. Cersei's bio says Cersei knows 238 different ways to make someone scream, and none of them are nice. She enjoys taxidermy and collecting coat hangers. So that's nice. Her favorite hobby is science, but she spends most of her time just learning how to cook or cooking or eating, as you can see here. And her turn-ons are well-educated Sims and athletic Sims, and she does not like unemployed Sims. So yeah, let's take a gander at her memories and see what went wrong between her marriage. Wow, she's had many affairs. So just like how we saw in Loki's memories, they dated as teenagers. But before she dated Loki, remember that she actually had her first kiss and went steady with Vidkund, but they broke things off pretty much immediately. Her father died, and then she kissed Loki for the first time, and then that's how things turned out for them. And then fast forward to when I started playing them, she had an affair with Vidkund. So actually I believe it was someone's wedding. It wasn't Vidkund's wedding. I believe it was Pascal's wedding. I can't recall exactly, but it's somewhere. Cersei and Vidkund found themselves canoodling, and maybe they were thinking about old times, and it all just kind of came rushing back. So they did have a little bit of an affair, but it wasn't anything really that either of them were serious about. It was just kind of that one-time thing. And then fast forward to here, she had an affair. She had an affair with Nervous. So it starts the game out, of course, with Nervous Subject being their sort of like a captive. So for the longest time, I was just sort of using him as he was intended. He would be going through their experiments that they were performing in their cellar, or he was sort of just like their live-in maid, caretaker, etc., etc. But Cersei, for some reason, just couldn't help herself, and she kept rolling the wand to flirt and interact with Nervous. So They did pursue that, but nothing really came of it. Nervous was, if anything, he was a little uncomfortable, and this helped spur him into the decision to simply escape the house. And then he met Lola, and that was how he kind of found an out. Of course, she had her son Fallon. She taught him all of his toddler skills because Loki was simply too busy to help. And then she had an affair with her friend Roger. So her friend Roger actually just came over for a visit on his own one day. And I thought, oh, I'll let them rekindle their friendship so that they don't lose contact with each other. And they immediately went for the kiss. And so that led to one thing and another, and then they wooed. So neither Cersei nor Loki are 100%, monogamous per se. Neither of them know about each other's affairs, so I feel like if those were to ever come to light, it would get pretty ugly. But that isn't to say that it never will. Okay, and let's go ahead and move on and talk about their kids. So over here, this is Fallon Baker. He is the eldest, and actually today he's going to become a teenager. So take a look at that face. This is definitely a Loki child, which honestly he's not the worst that I've ever seen, but he has a lot going on. But he's cute. He's still cute. He's actually in his pajamas, but he normally does wear glasses, so I'll have him change just so you can see what he looks like. So yeah, there's our little cutie patootie. I think the glasses actually do him a favor because his eyes are sort of small. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Fallon is an Aries, and he's extremely neat. He's extremely outgoing. He's very active. He is a little less serious than his parents, but still pretty serious. But he is just plain mean. He is just very, very grouchy. I actually did put a little bit of a bio for Fallon. So it says here, Fallon means leader. Will Fallon follow in his parents' footsteps and become a researcher? So we will just have to see. With him being an Aries, I believe that means, if I'm going to base it off of my usual Maxis intended zodiac sign to aspiration situation, Aries usually become popularity sims, which will be interesting to see because with him being so super grouchy, I wonder how easy it will be for him to make friends. So we will just have to see. Speaking of friends, the only friend he has that isn't his parents is Bruno Monti, which is the son of Antonio Monti and Titania Summerdream. They're actually best friends, which is really sweet. And they're pretty close in age, so they're going to wind up growing up together. And down here we have little Owen Baker. Let's take a look at him. So this is Owen. This is Owen Baker. He is an identical clone, almost, of Loki. It's really... Just look at his face. Listen, I'm not shaming the kid. But yeah, he has the Loki eyebrows. At least Fallon didn't get off that bad with the eyebrows. Yeah, he has normal eyebrows like Cersei, but Owen didn't get out as easy. So Owen is a toddler. He is, of course, going to age up to a child today. So we'll get to see more of him as he grows. His personality, he is also an Aries, a lot like Fallon, but not entirely the same. So Owen is just a little less outgoing, and he is a little less active, but he is every bit as mean as his older brother. So I don't think this family is capable of producing any kind Sims, but I'd be interested to see if maybe if they ever were to have a daughter, I'd like to see if maybe she'd wind up being a little bit nicer. Who knows? Only time will tell. And I haven't rolled the die yet to see if Owen is going to wind up wearing glasses or not. I will just end up doing that whenever he ages up to a child. His earliest memories are of just simply learning his skills, meeting the butler, and making best friends with Cersei. So there's still a lot more of his story to be told. As far as the house goes, I'm not going to bother giving a tour because I haven't changed anything. Virtually nothing's any different except for the fact that I turned this second bedroom into Fallon's bedroom, and I don't even have a nursery or anything set up. I'm going to turn this extra room here out of a living situation, put that stuff downstairs, and I'm just going to turn this into a 3rd bedroom because they're running out of space. So that's pretty much the situation with this house. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one. So next we're going to move on to a house that I always played when I would play Strangetown as a kid. I was just obsessed with their house and their family for some reason, but it's the Smiths. So yeah, this nice little green patch of grass, the Smith family. I haven't changed their bio at all, I don't think. So, oh wait, I did, yes. So I said, after a fruitful career, Pollination Technician 9 has retired to his favorite planet. Rather than face an empty nest, he and Jenny had more kids. Will Jack and Jacob decide to take over the pollination business or do something a little more normal? So as you can see here, they have 2 extra kids besides Johnny and Jill, who were grown up and out of the house. Jack is the eldest over here, and then he has his little brother Jacob. So we'll take a closer look at them once we get into their house. But with them both being aliens, I decided it would be interesting to see if maybe either of them would like to pursue maybe a future in the pollination career. Not that that would really be something that would be offered to them as only half aliens, but in my game I do say that male aliens have the potential to get both male and female human sims pregnant, so in other words, pollinated. So we'll have to see what happens there. Alright, this is the house. I know that it's a Max's build, and in most, circumstances, it's really not that good, but I don't know why. I can't put my finger on it. I just love it. For me as a kid, this house was the actual definition of suburbia. I just loved it. It has good bones, and as they earn more money, I'm going to continue to renovate it when possible. So let's take a gander over here. So we have PT9. I usually will just call him PT9. I know some people will call him Paul, Polly, whatever. I may refer to him as whatever suits me in the moment, so just bear with me. So PT9, he, as we know, is a family sim. He is very close to expiring. He's lived a very long life. I think he's even lived longer now than he has before in my previous games, what with my custom lifespan adding more days for him. Man, he has a very angular face. He also has what looks to me like a beauty mark above his eyebrow here. I don't know if I've ever noticed that before. That's interesting. Maybe that's part of the wrinkles that he has. Yeah, he is currently a lounge singer in the entertainment career, so this is not really a job that I would have chosen for him personally. Not that I really wanted him to have to get a job at all, because the idea is that he's retired. But whenever he and Jenny decided to have more kids when Johnny and Jill were leaving the house, they really needed the money, especially because Jenny couldn't work while she was pregnant. So PT9 just went for the first job that was available, and it was in the entertainment career as a birthday mascot or something like that. And he's just been doing so well that he's been getting promoted here and there. He's working nights, so that does kind of suck because it keeps him from the kids when they're home, but he's going to continue to progress in the career up to a certain point, of course, because then he's going to expire, but hopefully he'll get some better shifts. As of right now, he's a lounge singer. Okay, he is a Pisces. We know he's very neat, he's shy, he's lazy, he's playful, and he's in between grouchy and nice. His bio says the only thing PT9 loves more than his lawn is his family. When he's not spending time with his children, he enjoys clipping coupons and staring up at the sky. So I think that's really sweet. His favorite hobby is films and literature. He and Jenny both actually, well, it's not her favorite hobby, but they watch movies together constantly. Like, I almost have to turn the TV off and put in their inventory sometimes so that they'll stop watching movies together. But it's really sweet. And his favorite turn-ons are traveled and pet lovers, and he does not like Sims with high mechanical skills. So maybe he, him with having a little bit of mechanical skill himself, maybe he would rather be the handyman around the house. He is very close with his sons, his wife, Johnny, Jill, all of his kids there. Well, his kids by Jenny, that is. He's also close friends with Angela Broke, which is funny. Not a pairing I ever would have thought would become best friends, considering the age difference alone. But Angela and PT9 actually met because they both work in the entertainment career. And then he is just recently friends with John Burr, which, with them both being family sims and dads, I like that a lot for them. He does have the highest attraction to Jenny, aside from Titania Gossamer, but they don't really know each other, so that doesn't really matter. Yeah. As far as his relationships with his other family members go, his other daughter, Chloe, and her sister, Lola, they have virtually little to no relationship. I think maybe Lola and Chloe kind of always took it a little personally, perhaps, that PT9, is simply pollinated their human father, Glarn, but then goes on to marry their sister, Jenny. Very weird. Very weird. I'm not sure what exactly EA was intending when they made this family tree like this. Or maybe they knew it was weird and they just didn't care. I don't know. But yeah. So because of his grown adult children, there are many of them, he already has some grandkids. So we know about Johnny and his daughter Trinity, whose mother is Ophelia. And then we know about Lola and her two children, Raven and Percy, but we haven't met Chloe yet or any of her kids, so we will get to them whenever I post the tour for my downtown and my Unihood, because that's where they're living, downtown. Yep, so this is a family tree anyway, so he's got 6 kids, not too shabby. Yeah. So unfortunately, I will not be able to show you Jenny because she's at work. I forgot, as a nurse, she goes to work at 6 o'clock in the morning, which is very, very early. But we can still talk about her. So Jenny over here, she is 7 days away from becoming an elder, so she's got a little bit of time left. She wants to have a baby, but I can already tell her that that is not going to happen. I think I'm cutting them off. They're not allowed to have any more kids. They have too many as it is, and I think it's just kind of weird. Like, it wouldn't actually be realistic for a woman of her age to be able to have children. So we're just going to kind of nix that. She'll be fine. Yes, so she's a nurse, level 3 in the medical career. She has a lot of vacation days between, her 2 pregnancies that she's had, they've accumulated. She is a Taurus. She is rather in between sloppy and neat. She's more on the shy side, the lazy side, the serious side, but she is very nice, so it is what it is. Jenny loves having a career, but she wishes she could spend more time with her family and maybe make some new friends. She really likes green. So you can't tell from the outfit I have her in, but she's wearing a yellow top with a green floral skirt, which I think is very cute. Her favorite hobby is arts and crafts, but she doesn't really practice that. She mostly, like I said earlier, spends a lot of time watching movies with PT9. Her turn-ons are, of course, aliens and young adults, and she does not like Sims who wear makeup. Not much to say about her memories. Most of this is just her going through and raising her kids and things like that. She remembers Pascal getting abducted by aliens, and that was a traumatic experience for her. She is, of course, very, very close with all of her kids and her husband, and ironically, she is very close with her sister Chloe. Sister/stepdaughter, I suppose. I can't get over it. She's also very close friends with Christian Dreamer and her brother Vidkund. So her other brothers, Pascal and Lazlo, they aren't quite as close. They just don't conversate as much. They're all very busy, so it's understandable. They do have a pretty good base relationship, though. She also is quickly going to become friends with her granddaughter Trinity, which, of course, for Jenny right now, Trinity is her only grandchild because she, funnily enough, PT9's grandchildren through Lola and Chloe are actually Jenny's nieces and nephews. Oh, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. So she knows them, though. She's met Madison and all of the others. This is Orion. This is Vidkund's daughter. Yes, so I don't know. Not much else to say about Jenny. Moving on. So over here we have who will probably become one of my favorite Sims to play if I have anything to say about it. This is Jack Smith. So I did try to keep the J naming theme. I didn't want to disrupt that because I liked what they had going. They have Jenny, Johnny, Jill, Jack, and Jacob. And And I realize in hindsight, Jack and Jacob are pretty similar in names because it was brought to my attention by someone else that sometimes Jack is a nickname for Jacob, but I always thought that was more like a Jake thing, but alas, we have Jack and Jacob. So this is Jack. He is a family sim. According to ACR, through randomizing his gender preference, he is gay, so he's going to be into boys, which I'm super thrilled about because I'm excited to see if my same-sex pregnancy mod is going to work. Because again, if you recall, my aliens here are going to have the possibility to pollinate male sims as well as female sims. So again, we'll have to see what happens there. He's a public school student with an A+. He is a Curious. He's in between sloppy and neat. He's rather shy, rather lazy. He's pretty playful. He's very, very nice. I haven't written the biography. His favorite hobby is tinkering, but again, he spent more time watching movies and reading books than that. And his turn-ons are brown hair, mechanical, and he does not like fatness. So yeah, as of right now, the only person that he has even somewhat of a chemistry bolt with is Christopher Lothario. Christopher is the Christopher is the son of Don Lothario and Cassandra Curious, so he was actually their firstborn, who just aged up to a teen. I actually recorded my downtown tour before I'm recording this video, so if you've already seen my downtown tour, or if you haven't yet and I post it later and Christopher is actually a child, it's just because I haven't played them yet. It's a whole thing, don't worry about it. But just suffice to say, Christopher's a teenager now, and he's also gay, so I would, even though they only have one bolt of chemistry, I'd love to try and find someone with higher chemistry for Jack, but as of right now, they seem like they are on the way to maybe having their first kiss together. Yeah, not much else to say about Jack. The only other person besides his family members that he's friends with is Brooke Gossamer, who was the adopted child of Titania and Oberon. And then over here we have little Jacob. So Jacob, he has the human eyes, but he's redhead just like his older brother. I love that Jenny and PT9 had 2 blonde kids and now 2 redheaded kids, but 3 of the 4 have the alien skin. I just love that. Alright, and so yeah, Jacob just aged up to a child, so he's got a way to go before he becomes a teenager. He is a C+ student in public school. He hasn't really had the chance to work on his grade yet. He's a Capricorn. He's extremely neat. He's very outgoing. He's rather lazy. He's pretty playful, and he's pretty nice. His favorite hobby is cuisine, and he, of course, doesn't have turn-ons because he's a child. But yeah, and most of his memories are just of recent things like family growing up, things like that. With him being a Capricorn, I believe that means he's going to be a, let's see, Capricorn is going to become a fortune sim. So I think that'll be the first sim in this family to become fortune sim. So that would be interesting. Alrighty. And of course I haven't changed anything about this house. I originally had only redecorated Jill's room, but she's moved out. Everything's gone now. Over here we have Jack's room. This is this is Johnny's old room. So it just has some typical things you might find. Don't know why that was like that. In a teenager's room. Homework especially. And then over here we have little Jacob's room. Not much else to say about that. So like I said, once they start earning more money, they will have a full redecoration of the entire house. But until then, it's gonna look a little sparse. Okay, let's go ahead and bang out the rest. Moving on down the road a little bit, we're gonna go into the Grunt family, who right now only consists of General Buzz and his new wife, Sandy. Their bio says General Buzz may not have been a perfect husband or father, but that doesn't mean he can't try again. So let's go check them out. So here we are in this very interesting house. It's, it is what it is. I don't really know what this is. It's a rectangle. That's what it is. Anywho, let's go check out our Sims. So down here we have General Buzz. So he is actually not too bad looking. He's a pretty handsome Sim, if I do say so myself. He is only 7 days away from becoming an elder, so he's getting on up there in age, that's for sure. He has some wants to interact with his son Tank. They actually are like best friends now. They are just tight as can be. Tank has gone into the military career after his father, and he just couldn't be prouder of Tank, so that kind of also is what helped build their relationship a lot. General Buzz is also very close with his son Buck. Jan Tellerman, he is in love with Nina Curious. He's best friends with this townie named Tori, and he's still in love with Lilith's summer dream. So just about Nina real quick. So he and Nina had an affair when she was still married to Vidkin. I mean, she is married to Vidkin, but General Buzz and Nina had a thing going on before she got married, and then after she got married, he didn't care, so he continued to pursue her. But he hasn't had anything to do with her since he married Sandy. And then his fling with Lilith's summer dream was actually even way before that. It was especially before she married Puck or even had Puck's sons. So that was kind of when she was much younger. It was a little weird because she also had pretty high attraction to Tank and Rip, but she went for the older man, probably from her, not so great relationship with her father. It kind of made her want to go with an older man, but that's in the past. He's still in love with her though, but he realizes that it's over. He has pretty high chemistry with all of them, but he has equal amount of chemistry with his wife Sandy. Okay, he is a general, level 10 in the military career, so he makes a lot of money, but he's off 3 days a week. He is a Leo. He is rather neat, rather outgoing. He's extremely active. He is very serious, and he is very grouchy. General Buzz's bio says the general likes to have his clocks set to military time. He used to enjoy barbershop quartet singing, but that is classified information. So I think deep down, General Buzz is a big softie. There's just only so much he can show on the exterior. But now that his sons are grown and out of the house, I hope that he feels like he can kind of let loose and be a little more himself and not so rigid. At least that's the goal. General Buzz's hobby or favorite hobby is sports, and he likes stink and charismatic Sims, and he does not like Sims who travel, which is ironic because they just came back from an island vacation for their honeymoon. Yeah, that's him. And then over here we have his wife Sandy. Sandy is actually only 17 days away from becoming an elder, so she is much younger than General Buzz. They actually met because he brought her home from work one day, if I'm not mistaken, but it turns out she's actually in the athletic career. She is a superstar, level 7. So she is also very active, so her lifestyle matches with General Buzz's a lot. I think she's just positively stunning. I think this is just face 1, but it looks a little bit different to me. I can't be sure off the top of my head. And she wants to have a baby, so I've locked that in because I think it would be interesting, even though General Buzz is pretty old and all of his kids are grown up and out of the house. With his wife being so much younger, it isn't unrealistic for him and her to have a child together, and since she doesn't have any kids at all, this is a very big deal for her. So if they wind up maybe not having kids, that might be a deal breaker for her. Who knows? So Sandy was originally simply a townie. She didn't have any connection to anyone else before that. She really hates this guy named Joel Reiner, but they have really good chemistry. So maybe that's, a love-hate thing. Her friends are General Buzz and then just a bunch of townies that nobody knows. Oh, Ivy Cooper, but that's pretty much that. And she is a Scorpio. She's pretty neat, she's kind of shy, she's active, she's serious, she's grouchy. So yeah, her and Buzz's personalities complement each other pretty well. And her favorite hobby is sports, and just like General Buzz, and she has a pretty high interest level in that, enthusiasm that is. And then her turn-ons are also stink, and she likes fat Sims, and she doesn't like Sims with red hair. Yeah, so that's that. There's nothing different about the house. I suppose the only thing I did differently was I turned this room up here into General Buzz's room. I put in a double bed and the rest of his workout machinery. And then over here they turned Rip's room into a room with the toy dog pen. I don't think I'm going to wind up keeping this, but as for now, I just thought it was cute. This is General Buzz's dog named Terror. So, ooh. Wow, that is so cute. I hate that he's limited to the toy dog pen, but it's cute. And then back here we have put down a soccer goal next to the military stuff. So that is pretty much it. I can't wait to see what happens with Sandy and General Buzz, whatever they decide to do. So moving on over next door, we actually are going to go check on the other grunts. So originally I had the idea to move Tank into this house next door here, which is pretty much identical to the original grunt house, but it was more on the expensive side and Tank couldn't really afford it. So, and I also kind of just didn't want to play with it because it's kind of ugly. So I added this little bespoke build over here. And this is Tank Grunt and his son Riley. And they don't have a bio yet, but I'm going to have to add one for them because they have quite an interesting little story. Alrighty, here we are at the very modest but super cute Grunt house. I don't know why that siding is like that. Is it supposed to be like that? I don't know. We're going to ignore that. So yes, this is their house. It's very plain inside, just similar to how General Buzz kept his house. We just have one main room when you first walk into the house. It's a very similar layout in my mind to like a trailer or a double wide. We have the living room here, kitchen to the side, and then we have 3 bedrooms. So this small one here with the crib is Riley's nursery. This is Tank's room, and then this room is just currently being used as a study. Or if maybe Tank ever has another kid, they can move in here or something like that. And then a bathroom. So very plain, not much else to say about that. Tank is at work, so just like Jenny, I can't really show him to you, but we can look at this little cutie patootie. First of all, the high chair is filthy. But this is Riley Grunt. So he is Tank's one and only son, as of right now. Oh, I just noticed the handprint. Oh my goodness. That's so cute. Okay, yeah, so this is Riley. So Riley's mother is actually Sandy Broody. So if you aren't familiar with who Sandy Broody is, she is a townie from just the base game, if I'm not mistaken. And so originally, Tank actually had her move in with him as a roommate when he had his very first apartment because he couldn't really afford the rent on his own, but he didn't want to ask his father for help. So Sandy moved in, but then her being a romance sim, she and Tank had chemistry and one thing led to another, and then bam, she was pregnant. So he asked her to move in permanently, and they kind of became like live-in boyfriend and girlfriend without getting engaged, and then they just were raising Riley together. So shortly after Riley was born, they bought this small house together, and it was kind of just a very cohesive little family unit. The only thing is, Sandy just couldn't keep it in her pants, and she had to go and fool around with other Sims. So when Tank found out about this, he was devastated and very angry, and things got a little bit violent between him and Sandy. He's not perfect, he has anger issues, he gets a lot of that from his dad, so he actually had to just kick Sandy out. Sandy is actually on the police force, so it was also a huge big to-do about their breakup. This is partly why Tank never felt the desire to settle down and actually marry Sandy, despite pressure from his father, because hello, like Tank and Sandy have a child. But it looks like it worked out for the better, because if they had gone through a divorce, it probably would have been a lot uglier. Sandy kind of was understanding of Tank's, rage. She knew what she had done was wrong, so she very amicably decided to split, and they decided to leave Riley in Tank's care, which is unusual because typically the mother in most circumstances would rather take the child, but Sandy being a romance sim, she was actually probably a little relieved to be free of this burden or this responsibility, so she has decided to leave Riley with Tank, and now Tank is pretty much a single father. Sandy lives downtown now, so if you have seen my downtown tour, then you already know about this story, but if not, that video will be posted soon, so be on the lookout for that. I think Sandy, for the first time in my ever playing her, has proven to be somewhat of an interesting story asset. So yeah, Tank over here, he's in the military career. He's a commander, level 8 in the military career, so he's pretty close to following in his father's footsteps and maybe becoming the general if General Buzz ever retires. Of course, I feel like there can only be one General Buzz, so it would make the most sense to just wait until General Buzz does retire before Tank can take over. Tank is only 24 days away from becoming an elder, so he actually has quite a bit left of his adult life. He is a Capricorn. He is pretty neat. He's a little shy. He's very active. He's very serious. He's in between grouchy and nice, so in a lot of ways, he's a lot like his dad. Tank Grunt wants to be just like his old man. He spends his days lifting heavy things, dodging imaginary bullets, and being bigger than the other guy, but deep down inside, he wonders if anyone really knows who he is. So just like Buzz, he has a little bit of depth to him. I used to just simply hate Tank. I used to think he was just a bully, but I think that a lot of it is childhood trauma. You know, his mother died or disappeared when he was very young, and then, you know, he was in the house with this pretty abrasive, abusive man. And so he really, in a way, he wants to be just like his father, but I don't think Tank knows that that isn't really the best role model that he could have had. But it is what it is. Tank is his favorite hobby is science, but he kind of goes against that because even though he feels compelled to study science and, you know, go through that type of path, it just is frowned upon. I feel like his family, especially his father, is a type of family to be like, ew, nerd, and they would be like, oh, go throw a football. So he's kind of dabbled in things here and there. And his turn-ons are makeup and creative, and he does not like fatness. You can see from his memories here that he caught Sandy cheating and lost her as a best friend, so she was out of there. But he also wasn't exactly faithful either, considering he had just finished going on a date with Tori, and this was after Riley had been born. So Tank isn't perfect, but he definitely would be the type of man that would always rather be the cheater than the one that's cheated on. And he kind of had this preconceived notion that Sandy, being the mother of their child, she was supposed to simply stay home and take care of the baby and just be his little housewife. And he was just kind of shocked whenever that didn't happen for him. So yeah, that's all there is for that. And then, of course, over here, Riley's personality, he is a Sagittarius. He is pretty neat, he's pretty shy, he's very active, he's very playful, and he's a little more on the grouchy side. He's actually even a little meaner than his own dad. So we'll see what things are like for him as he gets older. Alright, and that's it for this household. So let's go ahead and move on to the very last ones and we can wrap this up. So last but not least, we have the very last grunt household of Strangetown. It's over here in the Strangetown Arms. It's an apartment complex I downloaded. So over here we have it's Buck Grunt right now. So Buck has graduated college and moved down on his own, gotten his own apartment, and it's only just down the street from his father and his brother. But it's not permanent, so we'll see where he goes from here. So I just loaded up into the household, and the first thing I see is Buck down here stargazing on the grass or desert dirt. I just absolutely adore Buck. He's handsome, he's cute, he has a lot going for him. So let's take a look at him real quick. So he's out here in his pajamas, which is why he's barefoot. So Buck has decided to grow his hair out a little bit. He still has quite a honker, but you know. If you hear any loud booms in the background, that is fireworks outside. Really sorry about that. Yeah, so this is Buck. He is a popularity sim. His lifetime want is to have 20 simultaneous best friends, so I think I'm going to try to do that for him. I've never successfully completed that lifetime want before. He is a blog writer, level 2 in the journalism career, which this is a career path that requires a lot of friends, so that'll be a challenge as well. He is a Scorpio, so he's extremely neat. He's rather shy, rather lazy. He's very serious, but he's extremely nice. And his bio is from when he was a child, so it says, more than anything else, Buck wants to be a pet stylist to the stars. He spends a lot of time wondering why his father never seems to notice him. But of course, like you saw from General Buzz's household, he and Buck actually have a wonderful relationship now. They get along much better now that maybe Buck isn't living in the house. So yeah, they are best friends. And then of course, he is currently engaged to Jill Smith. They don't really have really good chemistry, but you know, they just were childhood sweethearts, so it just kind of made sense for them to get together, and I think Jill really wanted to get engaged, so they did. The only person, of course, that he has higher chemistry with is Bella Goth, who is ancient compared to Buck, so I don't foresee that ever happening anyway. And of course, he's also very close friends with his brother Rip and also Bottom Summer Dream. He isn't anywhere near as close with his brother Tank, but they're getting there. And then, of course, Buck has a pretty, he's getting to know his niece and nephew, Riley and Violet. And hopefully children will be in Buck's future someday as well. So back to this, his favorite hobby is science, which is why he was stargazing. And his turn-ons are influential Sims with blonde hair, and he does not like great dancers. Yeah, so his apartment is this one right here. So this is actually what used to be Nervous and Lola Specter's apartment. It's quite sparse because he just moved in and out of college, and he doesn't have a lot of funds. This is just his one little bedroom, living room. At least he has a bookshelf, couch, coffee table, and a little dining table to eat at. He's kind of just biding his time, waiting for Jill to move in so that they can start, you know, planning their wedding and getting their lives started. So, yeah, I just love him. Alright, guys, so that is going to be it for the last household. Okay, guys, and so that is the end of our tour of Strangetown. I hope you enjoyed seeing the paths that my little Strangetown Sims have taken. If there are any Strangetown premates that you did not see here, it is because they have made appearances in the other parts of this Uberhood, so they may be in a different subhood. I know, like, Johnny Smith and Ophelia now currently live in Pleasant View. Rip and his daughter live in Pleasant View, so if you're curious about what's happened to those other Sims and you haven't seen those introductions videos, I highly recommend you go and check them out. And once again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you for sticking around. Please leave a like and comment if you are enjoying where my channel is headed. I know that my content has been a little amateur at best, but I really am working on my best setup for you so that my content can be as enjoyable as possible. So once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!